Day 1 took us to Holy Island, a small island accessible only at certain times of day by a causeway which becomes flooded at high tide. Holy Island is home to the most skylarks I've ever seen. There's this constant song all around you as you're walking around, coming from the grasses, which allowed us to get some really nice photos. Venturing to a protected wetland on the island and setting up in the bird hide, we were greeted by the lovely sight of a pair of swans and their goslings, as well as a great chance to see some swallows, which has made their nest in the eaves of the hide just above us, and so they were flying towards us and then landing in the nearby branches. Glimpses of the other island residents showcase the amazing nature this unique habitat has to offer. Staying in a cottage on the National Trust Estate Wallington allowed for us to witness some amazing nature in the quieter hours out of opening times, delivering a beautiful showing of the dipper. These birds nested nearby along the river and spent much of our time watching them fishing in the shallows and showcasing the dipping behaviour they are named for, before taking a break to clean in the sunbeams breaking through the woodland. On an evening walk, we heard an unknown birdsong coming from a nearby tree that sounded a bit like chicks. And after a short wait, we were proven right as a greater spotted woodpecker arrived with food for its chicks that were nesting in a nearby tree. Continuing our walk, a heron stood proudly on a fence nearby, taking a break from the adjacent river. And we then spotted another nest, this one for a pair of jackdaws, pushing their way to get inside. Day 3, we ventured out to a small fishing village of Cresta, and headed over to the cliffs below Dunstanburgh Castle, where the seabirds were plentiful. The water was filled with kittiwakes, fulmar and razorbills, who all adorned the cliff face where they nested. The kittiwakes, a type of gull, identifiable by their black legs, nested on the cliff, a popular sight across Northumberland, with the Tyne Bridge in Newcastle being home to the furthest inland colony of kittiwakes in the world. These typically coastal birds were joined by the razorbills, often confused with guillemots. These birds are named and identified by their unique bill and the white lines present on it. On the walk back, the rocky shores offered up a beautiful oyster catcher on an afternoon stroll. Venturing up to Scotland the following week, we visited the River Oik in the West Highlands, where the car park was full of life. Before we'd even gotten out of the car, we got the best views of a great spotted woodpecker I've ever had, hopping around in various smaller trees and shrubs and searching the wet ground for food. We ended up getting to watch this woodpecker for ages and got some really nice shots before we even started our walk. These individuals eat a diet of a variety of insects, seeds and nuts, both from the trees where there's often a loud drumming sound as they hammer holes into the bark to get into there with their really long tongue. but also in the long grasses like you can see here when foraging is necessary. Not getting a look in anymore. These birds are so cool for me personally to see. They're that perfect level of rarity where seeing them is always just a real treat, and I'm so glad I got to see so many great views of them in this trip that I went on. As we were sat there, it was just hopping around the picnic benches near us in the car park for ages, and it seemed like it really wasn't scared of us at all, and it was just foraging for food the whole time, and it definitely caught a few insects along the way. So that was really nice to see, and glad that we weren't disturbing it at all. Although the woodpecker itself actually followed us, and halfway through our walk later on we saw it land once again very briefly. While we were sat there, a male pheasant also showed up, this really colourful, very common game bird with their really distinct croaking call. Pheasants are widespread across the whole of UK, and many of you will have seen them before. But it's still really nice to get that view and all of those colours as it was creeping its head over the tree stump, and despite how common they are, they're always lovely to video. Armadale Castle in Skye proved to be one of the best birdwatching experiences I've ever had. Starting off strong, we saw a goldfinch eating from a flower on the garden lawn, as well as a lovely songthrush and chaffinch perched nearby. The castle itself was guarded by an oystercatcher, standing proud on the ruins and watching us as we walked. We headed up to the lily pond, where there was a flash of a bird right in front of me over the pond. I instantly knew this was a spotted flycatcher, which I've never seen before. It's been a bird I've wanted to see for ages, and it was so amazing how great of a view we got on this trip. The pond was covered in flies, and we thought the flycatcher was likely feeding when I had seen it, so we sat and waited, and the wonderful bird returned. With the camera I had and the telescopic lens, it was hard to get a good video of it in flight, but I was over the moon to come out of an encounter with a rare bird like this with such good photos and videos. And we did manage to get this phone footage of the bird in flight. It was flying out of the tree overhanging the pond and hovering right in front of our faces before trying to catch a fly and landing back in one of the trees nearby, continually for about 30 minutes. It's genuinely one of the best, like my all-time birding highlights, and I'm so glad I got to witness it. And to top everything off, a lovely sicka deer on the way back having some lunch. I feel so grateful for the trip I've got to go on, and I'm so glad I got to share some of these amazing, wonderful wildlife that I got to see. And if you enjoyed watching, please check out some of the other videos I'm making. I've been making some short documentaries on the channel at the minute, and there's a few more on the way, and I'm really excited. Thank you.